Welcome to Everyday Heroes, Unmasking Triumphs and Trials, where we celebrate the extraordinary and everyday people. Today, we spotlight Vanessa Guerrero, a devoted mother and wife striving for a brighter financial future for her family. From overcoming youthful challenges to attending a life-changing sales convention in Atlanta, Georgia, Vanessa's story is one of resilience and transformation. She shares hard-earned lessons, proud achievements, and the battles fought to pursue her dream of becoming a financial professional. Join us for an inspiring journey of triumph and determination.
Crazy? My high school nickname was V Boogie.
What?
That's my Snapchat name. I just went and changed it recently.
Why you changed it?
Everybody from high school refers to me as V Boogie, and then people where I worked at Quality Bicycle Products was like, "Yo, what's your nickname?" And I had told my supervisor one time. She was like, "Yeah, my nickname's V Boogie," so everyone started calling me V Boogie. They was like, V Boogie, like A Boogie with the hoodie, and I was like, "Who's that? Like, who's this fool over here trying to take my name?" You feel me?
What?
I was like...
And you're just telling me this now?
Just telling you now.
How many years ago were you in high school?
I graduated in 2001. I graduated when I was 16 years old. I told you that the last grade that I actually completed was 5th grade. I didn't even actually complete 5th grade. I went to Samuel's Elementary when I was removed from the home, so I didn't even get to finish 5th grade.
What?
Yep. I went to the first program. It was a wilderness program for 30 days. And
you were lost in the woods?
And you were basically like backpacking in the woods, like military style. Wherever the sun went down is where you laid your cot for the night. And I was like, yo, this ain't for me. All the bugs and stuff, I wasn't feeling it. So I ended up dipping out. And once I dipped out, that was a bad idea. Because from there, it just caused me more problems. I ended up going to Golden County Jail for a holding cell. Denver County Jail, Denver City Jail, for a holding cell. And experienced stuff that, the little kids should be experiencing.
In 5th grade, you're in Denver City Jail?
Well, it was about a year later, like, after the process. But yeah, I was like, what? 11, 12.
Because you were in trouble?
No, so I originally got removed from my home for truancy, but my mom at the time was drug addict. She was out partying and stuff like that.
She was?
She really was. She was out partying and stuff, and he went and told the judge that I was a bad kid. I wasn't waking up for school.
You're a bad kid.
I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing when the whole time she was a bad mom. It's like, yo, if you was at home watching your own kids, we would not be in this situation right now. So yeah, come to find out, she went into court and straight up told the judge that I was rebellious. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, and they ended up removing me from the home first. And then because I didn't have a sober caretaker, to take me out of foster care, once you kind of age out, like no foster care really wants, teenagers. So once you age out, you automatically go to girls' homes. So from there, it's treatment centers, it's group homes, different type of settings, which is more like a jail setting rather than, foster care. And they said that I wasn't able to emancipate due to my, you could say, mental health at the time. And so I ended up graduating from the treatment program I was at, 16 years old. And then by then, my grandma had went to Pueblo. She went to the state hospital, turned herself into rehabilitation, came back clean, and pretty much got me out when I was about to age out. Talk about crazy.
Around what age is that?
That was about 17.
So, wait.
So I graduated at 16. I completed the program. Because I didn't have a sober caretaker, I wasn't able to leave. Even though I was done with the program, graduated high school, had my high school diploma, I wasn't able to emancipate, so I literally was just living there.
What?
It was my home away from home.
So hold on. I'm gonna ask you something. You don't have to answer it. You just move on.
Yeah.
But you said, correct me if I'm wrong, you were in and out of group homes? Or you were in a group home?
Well, I was in group homes, but I would run away from the group homes. So then them group homes wouldn't want me back, if that makes sense.
Why would you run away from the group homes?
Because I didn't want to be there. I would run away from the group home to go back home. Even though I didn't technically have a home, you could say, but I would always go and find my mom. Even though
your mom didn't want you to.
Even though my mom didn't find me. My mom didn't look for me. My mom didn't, come and visit me.
I got rid of your ass.
I hadn't seen my mom for a couple of years when I was up in the mountains. I was up in this treatment home. It was in Green Mountain Falls, just outside of Colorado Springs. That's El Paso County. And she would call me and say, "Oh, I'm going to go up there and see you, for Christmas. I'm going to show up in December." The treatment facility would even offer to buy her a ticket, and she wouldn't ever show up, dude. So I'd be like, "Wow, this lady ain't come to see me, so I'm going to have to go pay her a visit."
Oh, okay. All right. So you sneak out and go see your mama.
It's just crazy how the brain of kids work, even when their parents don't want you or want them, you still go out and look for your parents. In a kid's eyes, there's just not a bad parent. And I got nothing but love for my mom, you know what I mean? She wasn't there when I needed her, and she wasn't, quote unquote, a good mother for me, but she's one hell of a grandmother, and I can't thank her enough for that, you know?
Hey, just learn from her mistakes.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, well, I'm glad you're a great ass grandmother, because you was a shitty mom. With all due respect, mama, if you ever hear this, I still love you. Don't whoop my ass. Just playing.
So when you turned 17, you graduated. And then where'd you go? When did you have your first kid? Or when did you get married?
So
when family life start?
So when my grandma came back from Denver, came back from Pueblo, and she got back to Denver, she had to start the process with the Department of Human Services. So she had to do what's called kinship program, aka grandmother program. Right. So she had to go to classes similar to parenting classes. She actually had to get a certificate of completion saying that she, in fact, went to this kinship program, completed it successfully, and is able to be a grandmother. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So once she completed that, then I was allowed home passes. So then I started going home on the weekends, which is when I had met my now husband.
Okay.
And, we was still in the friend zone. We was talking.
So how'd you meet him?
I was on home pass from the group home.
A home pass?
Yeah, they give you home passes on the weekend.
To go to your home?
Correct. And then you go back to the group home. So you leave on Friday and return on Sunday.
Thanks for the home pass.
Yeah. So I got a home pass, and I went to go kick it with my auntie and my aunties. This sounds weird. Don't be judgy. But my auntie's husband is my husband's cousin. Okay. It's her husband. I'm not related to him in any type of way.
That's right.
So anyway, so then I was introduced to him at a quinceañera. Gross. Don't start freaking me out. Yeah, so we met at a quinceañera and stuff, and he was real quiet and shy. Totally wasn't my type. I wasn't attracted to him or nothing like that, but it was just something. He was different. I'll just say that. He was different. I was just like, this dude seems pretty cool. I'm going to talk to this cat, see what's up. So we started talking. I'll call him on the phone and stuff and just try to get to know him a little bit better. And then once I got out of the treatment program, I lived with my grandma. probably only for about a year. And then after that year, I ended up taking off back to my mom's house. And then me and Perfecto were still, this is my husband, we were still talking. And at this point... Perfecto, yep. Perfect with the O. At this point, I just kind of felt like more of a connection with him. And I was just like, you know what? This is probably it for me, you know? And we stood talking and stuff like that.
What age was that?
So...
Approximately.
So I think I met him... So he got here in 1999. So, yeah, I met him like in 1999. We had been talking for a couple years, and then I got to see him / hang out with him during home passes and then continued after. So we were probably talking and friends for like 2-3 years before we made it official. Ended up getting married, getting pregnant, and all that stuff like at 18 years old. And been with him ever since. I think out of all that big story that I just told you, I think the worst part is, like, I kind of had to raise my siblings for a little bit because my mom was a very absent parent, and it kind of, like, took some energy from me. So then when I had my own kids, it was just, like, I don't know, like, I'm totally an active parent. Like, I'm very present, but I just didn't have the same energy that I had with my brothers and sisters. You know what I mean?
Right.
And... this is messed up, but my cousin thinks that the word outgoing means that you go out. Like, go outside. So he says that I'm not an outgoing person because, like, I don't like to go to Illich's and stuff like that with my kids, bless their heart. And now my kids don't care to do all that stuff either, so it's my fault for not being outgoing. I just wanted to include that because it's hilarious. And my husband's not a very outgoing person either, so we're kind of like boring homebodies.
Boring homebodies.
Yeah.
They enjoy each other's company.
Yeah. I mean, we enjoy family time. We like, you know, hanging out, barbecuing, you know, chilling and whatnot. But not really into, like, going to big crowded places and stuff, you know?
Got it.
Yeah.
So then, how did V Boogie find herself into a warehouse, you said? Or what job was it?
You talking about Quality Bicycle Products?
Yeah, I remember you said it earlier. Quality Bicycle Products, is that a warehouse?
It was a warehouse, yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a warehouse.
Yeah, it still is. It still is, but they relocated. So I had initially started, I started working with a company called Tully. They make bike racks, other racks for your vehicle, and what else do they sell there? They just have a whole bunch of outdoor stuff.
Totally for the outdoor person.
And then Tully ended up moving to California.
Okay.
And QBP moved from Minnesota to Denver. So QBP came to Tully and interviewed me in person and was just like, hey, you know, we're aware that Tully's moving to California. We're moving here. You know, we want to interview you guys first. And boom, I got offered a spot on the spot. So then they ended up moving out. I helped Tully move out. We packed them up, loaded them up in trailers, cleaned out the warehouse, all that fun stuff. And then we went to QBP, physically built all the racks. And then I got certified on a forklift. And then ended up, you know, moving all the boxes in, loading, stocking, scanning everything in. I think it took 4 or 5 months to get up and running. And, after that, they decided to move to Boulder. So, yeah, from there, I ended up just getting back into customer service.
So you would go to Boulder?
No, I didn't move with them.
Oh, they moved to Boulder.
They moved to Boulder, yep. The company moved to Boulder. I ended up staying. It was
So
2018.
Okay.
2018, and then I just ended up hopping in with E470. And then I think that was around the time that I met you. Originally, we became Facebook friends through Yolanda. And you offered me the opportunity, and I was like, yeah, I've kind of been thinking about that for a minute, but I'm not interested right now. And you were very persistent, by the way, dude. I think you would check in, every year?
At least every 6 months. At least.
And then I was just like, you know what? Heck, I was like, let's just give it a shot. I was like, I ain't doing nothing right now. I actually quit the job at E470.
Why?
To take care of...
Isn't that a city job?
So they're contracted with CDOT. They partner with CDOT. E470 is Public Highway Authority.
What did you do there?
I said I was customer service rep. I took inbound calls.
Okay.
Yeah, customer service, taking inbound calls.
From the highway?
No, from my house.
No, I mean, but people will call you because of incidents from the highway.
So people would get into the express lanes. They would drive on the toll road. Right. They would have toll bills to pay. Some people would call.
I hate toll bills.
They would call pissed off.
I had a toll bill that ranged up all to over $1,000.
That's what I was just going to tell you. People call.
I avoided it.
They're like, I'm at DMV, and they're saying that there's a hold on my plates, and it's your fault. It's like, well, if you don't got no money, you should be driving on them toll roads and them express lanes. Until this day, even though I don't work for them, I'm a firm believer. If you don't got no money, stay out that lane. That ain't your lane, playa. You have no business.
It's a bad lane.
No, I'm not mad about it, but
it's a bad
last year I went to a baby shower and I was on the express lane on I-25, jumped out of the express lane and got a $200 bill.
What?
Yeah.
You jumped out?
Out, not in. Yep.
So you might as well just stay there.
No mercy. It's because I missed my exit low-key, like on 120th or something in I-25. And I was like, what did I do here?
Wow. So did you pay it right away, or did it recruit interest?
We don't want to talk about that right now. If CDOT's listening, you know what I mean? Don't come for me. I got you.
Oh, my gosh. CDOT.
I'm debating if I want to dispute it. So, no, I haven't paid it yet.
Why don't you contact your legal shield and consult your lawyer?
I don't got legal shield.
I can sign you up today. And you have access to a lawyer immediately. Free consultations all year long.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Plus, if you sign yourself up, you get paid.
True.
So wait a minute. Why did you leave there? This sounds like a pretty comfy job.
Oh, I was telling you because my sister needed to turn herself into rehab. And we were having a family...
your sister that you raised.
Yeah, one of them. My sister was... we were having intervention for her, trying to prevent, the kids from getting removed from the house and going through everything that we had to go through.
Right.
And she decided that she wanted to turn herself into rehab, get some help. So I offered to quit my job and take care of her 3 kids while she went and got the help that she needed. And I ended up quitting that job. And during that time is when I actually met you. Well, not met you, but actually accepted the opportunity. The opportunity to join. And
what made you? Because you said that you've been thinking about life insurance. But what made you think about that's a possibility before even talking to me?
So I lost my best friend, and when I lost my best friend, it was really hard coming up with the money. I had a benefit for her. We were selling plates. We were selling, auctioning off some of her clothes and stuff like that. And when I realized, how hard it was and how expensive it was to come up with the money, you know, in a short period of time, because at the end of the day, the funeral home is still a business. You know what I mean? And they need their money. They want their money, so they're putting pressure on you. They're like, hey, you know, when you going to come up with that money? You said it was going to be today. And, you know, and it's like, okay, I only got half. You know, give me another day, give me 2 days.
Right.
And that entire process was traumatizing. And I was just like, dang, like, people need to know about life insurance. You know what I mean? Because if she would have life insurance, we could have prevented this from happening. And I'm going to be real honest with you. Like, it really didn't cross my mind before that. Like, that was probably the hardest death for me, like, in my lifetime. Like, I had previously lost my grandfather. Like, obviously my dad, he committed suicide when I was like 4 years old. But, you know, I was too young to know about life insurance. You know what I mean? And I was too young to know about that process. What I did know is that my grandpa, when he passed away, his funeral was a breeze. Like, he had life insurance, so I'm thinking, like, wow, like, he got buried damn near the next day.
Wow.
We didn't have no benefit. We weren't selling plates. We weren't begging for change, you know. And when I say begging for change, I'm referring to a GoFundMe. Right. Because to me, that's like panhandling at the corner. Right. Asking for change for your loved one when you should be responsible enough to have life insurance on their life, you know, to cover that worst day of your life, you know?
So did y'all have a successful GoFundMe?
So we didn't have GoFundMe at the time.
Oh.
We had to do this manually, old school style.
Oh, wow.
So GoFundMe, I don't think it was around yet. I mean, you could do your research and tell me when GoFundMe, you know, was created or started.
But you didn't know about it. So
but I didn't know about it. Exactly. I didn't know about no GoFundMe. And if it was around, I sure the hell didn't know about it. And having to come up with that money and like beg people for money, you know, to put my friend to rest was beyond me. Like, until this day.
How long did it take you?
So this is a really sad story, but my friend she committed suicide. She had already been hanging for 7 days.
I'm sorry.
And so her body was already deteriorating.
7 days?
So she hung herself in my mom's closet.
No.
In my mom's room closet. Yeah. And after they found her, it was because her job called and did a welfare check and was like, hey, she hasn't been to work now and we're worried because this ain't like her.
Right.
And ended up showing up. The cops showed up, you know, knocked on my mom's door, and they're like, hey, you know, is so-and-so here? I'm not going to say her name you know, just out of respect. And my sister was like, no, like, I haven't seen her for a while. Like, she just comes and goes, you know. She stays here sometimes, stays with one of her girlfriends or, you know, whatever. So, no, she ain't here. I haven't seen her for a while.
Right.
And them two actually weren't talking at the time. So my sister didn't really care, you know, to see her. Right. So then the cop was like, all right, well, if you see her, you know, tell her job's looking for her. Well, the cop had a gut feeling that something wasn't right and walked around to my mom's backyard and was peeking through the windows. Through the fan, he was able to see something that looked like an image, like a body in the closet. So he ends up kicking down the fan through the window and sees her, with all due respect, dead body hanging. So he immediately goes back around, pounds on the door, you know, instructs my sister to get out the house, goes in, knocks my mom's room door down, and goes and cuts her down and, you know, checks for pulse and whatever else they do. My sister calls me. She had called me the first time saying, hey, when was the last time you saw so-and-so? Cops are looking for her. And I was just like, you know what? That's wild. I was like, because we're supposed to get lunch on Wednesday and she never showed up and never answered my text messages. But it wasn't unusual because she would always, you know, get in her little modes where she would, you know, take off and disappear and just be hanging out with her girlfriend. So we was used to it. She was always in and out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she was always on go. So it didn't seem unusual to me at all. And matter of fact, that night, she came to my house and dropped off some money for my husband. Was like, where's Ness? And he was like, she's in the shower. Do you want to wait for her? And
what's that? Oh, please, it's the neighbors.
someone knocked on our back door, dude. What the heck? That's creepy. So then,
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no too. we're gonna let it slide. So no, this is crazy, but she literally came to my house the night she took her life, and she told my husband, she wasn't gonna sit around and wait for me to get out the shower. She was like, here, I just came to give her $10 for gas because she took me to work the other day. So she literally was paying off her debts and her dues before she took her life. Could you believe that? Just mind-blowing, dude. Crazy.
What?
So I didn't think anything of it, and I was just like, all right, cool, I was just like, I wish she would have stood around. Like, later on, when I found out what happened and stuff, I was just thinking to myself, like, dang, like, I wish she would have waited, because I know I would have talked her out of it, because I have plenty of times before. But going back to the day of, my sister calls me. I'm at the DMV, and she's like, hey, have you talked to so-and-so? And I was just like, letting her know, we had plans Wednesday for lunch. She never showed up. Whoop-de-whoop. That was in a story. She was like, all right, cool. Well, I was just like, because the cops are here doing a welfare check from her job. I guess she hasn't been going to work. And I was just like, okay, weird. I immediately felt like I need to throw up, vomit, nauseous, knots in my stomach, knots in my throat. Something didn't seem right. After that, as I'm driving back home, my hands are damn near shaking on the steering wheel. Sure enough, my sister calls me back, hysterical. I couldn't even understand what she was saying. All I know is she was like, she's dead. And I freaking hung up the phone. Her? No, the cop. Because the cop went through the back, remember, knocked in the fan, knocked off the fan.
For the welfare check. Okay.
Found her hanging, immediately went to the front of the house, told my sister, get the hell out the house. Don't move. Don't go nowhere, though, because you're a prime suspect.
Right.
Because you're in the house right now. Right? You gotta wait for homicide to get here. So then homicide shows up. I show up. And they're like acting so sketchy and weird. Like if we did it, like it's the worst feeling in the world. And we're already freaked out enough, due to the situation. And, the cops like, don't move, like keep your hands where I could see them. Homicide detective's gonna go in and ensure that there ain't no foul play. And we're like, excuse my ignorance, what the fuck is foul play? What is that? And who does it or what? I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like these are homicide terms, right?
So y'all looking the possibilities.
Right.
Of
someone helping her, exactly.
Making it look like she died that way.
Right. So my sister's like freaking out because they're treating her like a prime suspect. And then mind you, I didn't even want to discuss this because it's embarrassing, but weeks before, my sister, she used to work at Ross. Weeks before, she would always send everybody pictures and be like, hey, look what I found, because she does like stalking on Wednesdays. And if she finds something super cool or, say some Jordans, right, for the low, she's going to be like, hey, look at these Jordans, are your size. Do you want me to save them? Yes or no? Right? And then my friend, she has sent her some Air Maxes, like in all kinds of different colors, like 4 or 5 pairs. And my friend was like, oh, grab them for me and I'll pay you when you get to the crib. So my sister bought them, gave them to her. She never gave her the money. So then her and my sister were in an argument during that time because of some money, which, you know how money is. Money, they say money is what's it called? The root of all evil, exactly. So they were not talking, which made her even more suspicious. Bless her heart, poor thing, because she was like, I'm pretty sure she was snobby with the cop when they were like, where's so-and-so? She was probably like, I don't know. I don't care. You know, if that bitch still got my money, I don't want to talk to her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, man, it was all bad. And I felt so bad for her, not to mention, like, I went in, like, not only were the cops treating her bad, but when I got there, I was just like, are you freaking serious? Like, you just let her kill herself because she owed you some money? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I took it out on her. Like grief is so crazy. It's so much easier to just blame somebody for doing it because it helps you, you know, kind of feel better, you know, having a face to, you know, to the situation. And I apologized to her, and I still apologize. Like, every time I think about it, I'm just like, man, I am so sorry for going off on you like that. But at the moment, it was so devastating. Like, you just needed to blame somebody. You needed to yell at somebody. You needed to cuss at somebody. And that whole experience overall was just, I don't even have words for it. Honestly, it was heartbreaking for real. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody, honestly. Cray.
That's wild.
Right. I think the hardest thing for me was, like, I experienced that when I was 4 years old. Like, I found my dad hanging. And you would think that, like, I wouldn't even remember that. And I literally could still visualize it right now. And I told my mom, and my mom was like, get out of here, you know?
Is that, if you don't mind me asking, is that when your mom switched to drugs, or was she already doing drugs with him?
I don't think she was doing drugs. I think she was a very sweet, innocent girl. My dad, like, he used to beat the shit out of her.
Oh, no.
It was really bad. It just gets worse, honestly. So the night of, he was doing drugs. He was intoxicated.
The night he killed himself?
Yeah.
What? What was that?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh, I did that because of this.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so the night of,
my bad.
I thought you was like,
no, my bad.
The night of, he was intoxicated. Unfortunately, he was like really drunk. He was doing Lord knows what drugs, and he was just a real violent dude. He was Italian, if that speaks anything to you. I don't know if it was his dad or his grandpa, but straight from the Italian mob, dude. Just some hardcore dudes. So he got that, I don't know if you want to say like violent blood or bad blood or vicious blood, whatever you want to call it.
Nothing to get it out on?
Pretty much.
Like, you need a hobby.
Yeah, he took it out on her, bless her heart. She was basically his punching bag, and I think everything she went through, like all the domestic violence,
right,
and then that incident, like his suicide, I think that's probably what drove her. Like, she was obviously very young still. Like, I don't blame her. She was young, and you know, she was still figuring life out, and she didn't have a coach or mentor, you know, or anyone to look up to for that, you know. So I don't blame her for what she did, because she didn't really know better, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that's probably something that probably led up to her, you know what I mean? Starting to try drugs or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, crazy stuff, dude.
What was, I know you're like 4 years old, but do you remember, was your dad buried or cremated?
So all I remember is that I woke up and I was attempting to go downstairs to go see my mom, and he was just hanging on the stairs by a chain, and his neck was like barely hanging on. And he was like gushing out really bad. I just remember seeing the handprints down the side of the wall where he was like trying to save himself. Maybe he didn't want to do it no more, or had second thoughts, or, you know what I mean? Maybe he wanted to come back to life. I'm not sure what his intentions were, but when the ambulance got there, they cut him down or whatever, and he still had a pulse. And when they got to the hospital, they said that he was in a vegetable stage, and that they kept him on the machine for a few days until his mom was able to make it there. But they had to make the final decision to turn off the machine. Yeah. They said that he was going to be brain dead because he lost too much oxygen, too much blood to the brain. So, unfortunately, this is the sketchy part, though. The sketchy part is this happened in Pueblo, Colorado. That's where I was born, in Pueblo. They put him in a body bag. And I'm not sure at what point they realized that he actually had a pulse and took him to the hospital. Right. I just remember this big old yellow truck pulling up. It looked similar to like our fire trucks, but it was a little bit shorter than our fire trucks here in Denver. And I just remember seeing them carrying out a black bag. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, dude, like, this is it, you know?
Right.
And then I don't really have a memory from there. Like, I wasn't invited to the hospital. You know what I mean? Right. So as a child, I didn't get to see that or experience that because I obviously had seen plenty by this point. Right. So my mom, I'm not sure, you know, what we did during that time. I don't really recall. But I just know that I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't go to the hospital with them, so I don't know, you know, what exactly happened from there. And I really don't recall, like an actual funeral, but my dad was buried.
He was buried.
He was buried, and when I try to go see him, because he's in do you know Alamosa?
Yeah.
He's buried in Alamosa. I found his dad, and we actually buried his mom with his dad. But when I asked the receptionist if I could, you know, find my dad's gravesite so I could, you know, just out of respect get him a headstone,
right.
He's lost.
He's lost?
Yeah. The location that they directed us to, like, is nowhere to be found. Yeah, so this little cemetery is like super sketchy. I think that they keep reselling the same hole, as sketchy as it sounds. And it's in like Canosa. It's in Canosa.
Reselling the same plot?
Yeah, I think they resell the same hole.
What did they do with the body?
I don't know if they bury them on top of each other or if they dig them out and
so you're saying unless you stay there and watch them put...
Dude, the only reason why I'm making this up, right? You can call me crazy if you want, right? I went to the cemetery for my grandma's burial. My grandmother was cremated, but we buried her ashes with her husband, which was my dad's dad or my grandfather, right? Mm-hmm. So when we went to the cemetery, I'm looking around and there's maybe about 50 headstones.
Okay.
Right? And my dad committed suicide in 1989. And it's like, you're going to sit here and tell me that only 50 people were buried since 1989, right? Up until 2022, right? So it didn't make sense to me. And I'm just like, okay, where? I'm looking at the sign, right? There's like a map. And it says, I don't know, about 300, 400, 500 people's names on there. But there's about 50 headstones. Okay? And it doesn't look like there's even a spot to put an extra headstone. So I'm wondering where them other people are, including my father, where them other bodies are. That'll have have to be a whole nother conversation, okay? We might have to go up there and do like some ghost stories or something. You feel me?
That's why.
Because something's not right. They have this big old map at the entrance. And then it gives you the directions, you know,
right.
Which it ain't hard to find. You go in there, you do a circle, and you done went through the whole place.
Okay, woo.
Right? But the thing is the list is about, like I said, like maybe 300, 400, 500 people that are supposed to be buried there. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
But there's only about 50 headstones. And I understand that not everybody could afford one, especially, you know, if they don't have life insurance, burial insurance, final expense insurance. You know what I mean? I understand that not everybody could afford one, but that number just don't make sense to me.
You just threw out a whole bunch of different type of life insurance. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't either, sir.
No idea what you're talking about. So then,
burial insurance, life insurance, final expense insurance.
Wait, before you start spelling it out, I have to stop you. Stop you because I gotta keep your fans on track here.
Yeah.
So you're leaving all this. You're leaving all the with your job. You're leaving with your now husband. You had your kid. All this history of death in and out your life, all your whole life, basically,
right?
In a pretty extreme ways. And I say that because I have similar experiences, not with suicide, but homicides.
Right.
Right, and so I get the background. So this is where I see the trail that led you to wanting to life insurance.
Uh-huh.
But what made you finally say, yes, I'll go to class? And what was your experience like when you went to class? And how long did it take you to get the license?
Sure. So going back to my why is because I lost my best friend. She committed suicide. We had to raise a bunch of money in a short period of time. It was hectic. And I thought, like, if she would have life insurance, we wouldn't have gone through all that. And I thought to myself, how many people don't know about this and how many people could I help? You know, so that was my immediate why. And I was just like, man, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to find it. I don't even know if this is the job title or position or if this even exists. Do you feel me?
Okay.
Because back in the day, we only had one life insurance agent for the whole West Side. You know what I mean? It was just this one dude who would pull up in his little brown suit with his little briefcase collecting checks every month on the 1st.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm just like, I don't even know if it's just this dude, you know, who does the life insurance for the West Side, right? So that was my original why. And then you had been sharing the good news with me for a while, and I really wanted to do it, but I was kind of in a position where, you know, I wasn't 100% sure, you know, when I wanted to start. Like, I knew I wanted to do it, I just didn't know when I wanted to start. Right. So once I had already quit my job, you know, to take care of my nephews, then I was like, this is the perfect time because I could do it on my time. You know what I mean? It's a perfect opportunity. I just need to make time to go to class or whatever, dedicate myself to 2 weekends at the time to get my license. And that's exactly what I did. I ended up saying yes. You showed me the business. I was very much interested, you know, since the first time you offered it to me, I just wasn't ready at the time, if that makes sense. Right. So then once I said yes, I was like, all right, cool. You know, immediately scheduled my class to get my life insurance license, which is called the pre-exam first, right? Right. So I scheduled my pre-exam. I had to dedicate 3 days to be exact. I went Saturday and Sunday one weekend, and then Saturday the following weekend, and I ended up testing out of class. Once I tested out of class, I was able to go ahead and schedule my state exam. And then I think I scheduled my state exam probably a week out or so.
Okay.
And then due to licensing and stuff like that for onboarding, you know, with the company, unfortunately, it takes 3 months before you get appointed, before you're able to write business.
It took 3 months?
It did, yeah.
Why?
Because of our licensing specialist procedure and process.
What?
But I mean, the actual licensing.
That wasn't for me.
As far as testing and stuff like that. I got
licensed. I wrote business next day.
It's really smooth, but as far as me, that was the only complicated process. Was like, boom, you know, I went to class, boom, I passed my state exam, and then, you know, I just, the frustrating part was you're not able to just write business the next day, unfortunately. But that's not supposed to be the process. You know, that's just how it happened.
That weird that you had that experience, because mine was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I got appointed. You're saying it took 3 months to get appointed, not Correct. To write business.
Both.
What? Why did it take 3 months to get appointed?
Because that's how long it takes. You have to do the 90-day bonus. That's just the process, unfortunately. Which is by far the most frustrating part. But, I mean, if we think positive, it's worth the wait.
Oh, okay. So when I came in, I didn't do all that. That's why I.
So you're saying the bonus is new?
No, it's not. But I came in already licensed.
Oh, okay, I got you. So you didn't have to go through that waiting process, right?
So you and I came from two different paths on that one. But
yeah, so if I ever offer somebody,
but you're talking about the field training bonus.
Yeah, the field training bonus. You still have opportunity to earn money.
That's
and
what.
Stuff, yeah, don't say no names.
I won't say no names. Yeah. She was fucking me up on all that. I was like, I don't get it. And he. And so, all right.
Yeah, so that is a very frustrating process. But besides that, like the actual licensing process is pretty smooth.
I think the
and training is super
freaking amazing if it's done right.
Yeah.
So you and I need to find a way to make it get done right.
Correct. Right, exactly.
In a fun way.
Right. Yeah, because 90 days is a long time, dude, and to retain somebody's interest for 90 days is tough.
They'll have to earn money.
Yeah, but, I mean, if they... You know how certain people come into the business, we ain't going to say no names, right?
Yeah.
But there was this one person who was like, I only want to write business.
Perfect.
I'm not interested in selling other products that we offer, right?
Perfect.
And we was like, cool. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you do whatever you want to do. You
know where they at. Well, what are they doing?
And then they were like, never mind. I don't want to do nothing at all because they couldn't pass the exam. You remember?
Okay.
So they just backed out completely. I was like, hey, how do I, cancel my subscription? You remember?
Tell me who it is. I can edit it out.
What was her name? I just seen her name pop up on Facebook.
Melissa.
Nope, not Melissa. What the heck is her name? Tina. Yep, so Tina went to class. She left early. Didn't go back the next day. We rescheduled her. She went, supposedly gave it her all, and didn't pass the damn test. So then she was like, just quit. And it's like, dude, I know people who've tried to pass this test 20, 30 times, dude, and didn't do it.
Well, how?
Do you know the Montezes? Oh, we shouldn't even be talking about them.
Yeah, I don't think that. So wait, so when you went to class,
yes,
did the pre-exam and the actual exam on a level of difficulty, we'll just say scale 1 to 10, 10 being the most difficult, where do you list it?
I think my instructor was very good and thorough, and I don't think it was difficult. Like, if I had to measure it just because it was new to me, I would say I would give it a 9.
That's pretty hard. That sounds pretty difficult.
Hold on, 9 being more difficult or less?
10 being the most difficult.
Okay. I would give it a 1 or 2.
That's really simple.
It was pretty simple.
I just went from, wait a minute, that sounds really difficult to wait.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
That sounds really simple now. What do you mean 1 to 2?
No, I would only give it 1 to 2 because, like, learning something new is not easy. You know what I mean? And life insurance is different. So it is a little complicated as far as, learning new terminology and stuff like that. But the course itself, the instructor and instructions, made it simple. Like, we also, played games and stuff like that to try to retain some of that memory. We did Kaboo. You remember?
Right.
So, I mean, I was acing it. I was doing good, but I think the hardest part about my entire book is definitely, the back of the book, which is ethics, which is also the most important part. But it's the hardest to remember because it's so much information in so little time that you have to retain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But besides that, like, you have all the tools that you need to pass the exam. You have all the tools you need to be successful.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
On my end, I would rate it a
9.
I would rate it between a 6 and 7 because all I did was get the book,
right,
read it, and take the exam, and I passed it on my first try.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, you even scored better than me.
They never told me my score, so I don't know.
I just passed by the grace of God, and this is what I said when I went in there. Okay? I didn't go in there with the plan. I didn't go in there with the big head. I was nervous. I was shaky. But I was just like, Lord, if this is for me, then let me test out of this class.
Then let it be.
And let it be. I passed out of my class. I don't remember what my score was, but I mean, in my own words, I'm going to say I aced the damn test, and I was proud of myself that I actually tested out of that class because I was the oldest person in that class. I was in class with a bunch of 18 and 19-year-old kids.
No way.
Yep.
I wonder if any of them were at convention.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
I would say no.
But I mean, that shop gets a lot of kid recruitees or whatever you call it. They recruit a lot of kids. Me personally, I didn't feel confident when I went. I was like, dang, man, I'm an old lady and there's all these little kids in here. Like, this is going to be wild. And then when I seen how many people got up and left the room because they did not test out of class, I was crazy. Like, I was crazy in shock knowing that, like, I made the cut. You know what I mean? I was like, ain't no way. I was like, you sure? You sure? You better double check your paperwork. Are you 100% sure my name was on that list? And yeah. Right. Sure enough, I passed it. But I think it's how serious you take it. Like, if you study a little bit before you go and take the course and you're at least a chapter ahead, like, it's just going to be a refresher when you go to class. Like, if you follow the directions by the instructor, everything's going to go smooth. You'll be in and out that bad boy in 3 days.
So then overall, it's a 30-day process?
It just depends on scheduling. It depends on what's available. You really have to commit to 2 weekends.
Commit to 2 weekends, take the exam, boom, done in a month.
Commit to 2 weekends, and you could be done in a week if you are serious about it.
Now, it'd be really cool if we could set up a training course. I mean, get into class, do life, and then while they're still doing the field training bonus, right? They can't write business by 90 days.
Right.
And then you put them right into securities.
Right.
Securities is about a 2-month process. So, I mean, by the end of 2 months and 1 month, that's approximately 90 days anyway.
Right.
So I think that would be an excellent idea to implement.
I mean, I've heard of people doing that, but I'm low-key sketchy about that.
I
feel like it would be intimidating and throw people off. Like, I wouldn't force it on them, but I would definitely offer it to them. Like, I wouldn't make it mandatory. Like, if you want to be on my team, like, you have to do this, this, and this, because everybody moves differently. Like, you could really miss out and lose a really good, money-making, motivated person, and scare them off by telling them, all right, we're going to study for SIE. You know what I mean? I would tell them, this is, what is available to you, and this is what's next. Do you want to start fast or do you want to start slow? I wouldn't pressure them to do it, to be honest with you.
No, I get it. You want to get
like you could put some heat on it, like if they're really interested, but I feel like they really have to want it in order to go out there, study hard, understand the material, pass the exam, get licensed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because some people are in it for everything, and some people, like I said, are limited, and most of it is because they're limiting their belief system, right? They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they could do it. They don't believe it's for them. They don't believe it could happen for them. But once they see other people doing it, they might get hungry for it later on, and it's not really on our time. It's on their time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
do you believe what's happening for you?
Wanting the SIE?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah.
I've thought about it a lot, but I mean, no one hasn't even showed me where to start studying, so I'm just like, all right.
Yes, we have. Oh, in the Telegram.
Well, they say click here, raise your hand here if you want to study for SIE.
Oh no. They have a video that they put up in what's the general chat? The general chat where everything goes.
Well, one thing is when they just go in there and say, hey, hurry up and get your SIE. You know what I mean? And one thing is say, hey, you ready to start studying?
All right, but
like I think I understand to an extent, like when he first started offering it, I think it was like to you and like a couple other people. I mean, he offered it to all of us, don't get me wrong, but it was like, you could sign up for Kaplan or something else. Yeah. But like,
in your POL.
Like, I really don't, I don't know. I guess I didn't look at it.
It's all your POL.
I didn't understand it. But, like, everybody has scared me away from it a little bit. Saying like how hard it is. So I take on challenges, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? As long as I'm directed in the right direction.
Yeah.
So like I'm down, but I just gotta.
All right, cool. So it's future goal. Perfect.
I don't want you to be mad if I start studying and I go and take my exam tomorrow and then I beat you there. You feel me? Hey, I ain't trying to get cocky or nothing, you feel me? But hey, you never know.
You never know.
You just never know.
You should beat me there.
No, I'm just playing. I don't want to beat you there.
You should beat me there, not meet me there.
I'll race you there, though.
All right.
We could definitely race.
Perfect. So, what was your biggest thing about conventions? What made you want to go to Primerica Convention? How did you pull it off? And what do you feel was the biggest thing you learned there?
That was a lot of questions in one question, dude. So you're going to have to slow down.
Your story of convention. What made you want to go there?
So I went because it's supposed to be super cool and epic, dude. So who wouldn't want to go, right? And
a lot of people, because they didn't go.
That's their fault. They just said that this is a life-changing event and you want to be there and you don't want to miss it. So I was like, bet, sign me up. So once registration opened to all reps, because I don't know why the events are set up like that, but they only open it up for like RVPs and above first, and then they open it up to all reps, right? So right. I was following like on POL, and once it said open to all reps, I don't know, I felt like tickets were unlimited. I mean, I felt like tickets were not unlimited, and I was like, oh my gosh, I better hurry up and get my freaking ticket now, dude, right, before they sell out or something, you know what I mean? So the second that I see that option, I was like, dude, I am getting my ticket right now, because, you know, if I wait or if I procrastinate, I might, you know, miss the opportunity. Right. So I didn't double think it, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to commit now, because then I'm going to try to find excuses not to show up later on. Right. You feel me? Yeah. So what I did was I just went and purchased the ticket on credit. Right then and there. Boom. It was like, boom.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So that was my way of locking in and committing. Because otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been interested if I would have overthought it. So, yeah. And my takeaway was really easy, to be honest with you. Like, we saw a whole bunch of hard work pays off. You know what I mean? And that was the biggest message, is like, get your ass to work. Right. You know what I mean? Have I put a plan together? Do I have a goal, you know, in place? It's like, I have a picture, I have a vision, I have a dream, but I need to write this down. Yeah. I need to make a actual plan.
But you feel it. You feel it in your gut right now. So was it life changing?
I don't want to sound jacked up to you or to, you know, to our audience or nothing like that.
Sound all the way jacked.
But they just repeated a lot of stuff that I already knew. they repeated a lot of stuff that we already know. Like, we know that, you know, if you want to see results, you have to put in work. Right. Like, it's common sense. Like, if you don't have no activity, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna see no results. Like, it's really common sense. Will this reach?
It reaches.
It's really common sense, to be honest with you. And hearing other people's stories and stuff like that, like, I was able to relate to some. Right. But it wasn't, like I said, don't judge me because it's jacked up. But
be jacked up, jack it all the way up.
But it wasn't the words, it wasn't their experience, it wasn't their story that motivated me. It was just mostly the biggest reminder was just get out of your own way. You know, get out of your head, get out of your own thoughts. Because half of the time, like, we end up holding our own self back. And I already knew this, but hearing it so many times this weekend, it's like drilled in my head right now.